Hey Trump, I got an idea for you. Forget about making Canada the 51st state. How about the US joins Canada instead? Now before you get your orange comb over in a bunch, just hear me out. The United States of Canada has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Here's why this might actually be a brilliant idea. And actually this wasn't my idea, this was an idea from a lot of people that commented on my previous videos. And they probably were Canadians. Maybe a few Americans too. Number one, solving the debt crisis. All right, America, we need to talk about your debt. It's a whopping $36 trillion IOUs you have out right now. Let me break that down for you. 36 trillion. That's a lot of zeros. And before you just shrug it off, let me put it in perspective. If you stacked $1 bills, you would reach the moon and back. And then you'd still have enough bills to make a bridge to Mars twice. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of debt. Here's the deal, managing that much debt. It's exhausting. It's like swimming with a boulder tied to your ankle. But don't worry, Canada's here to throw you a lifeline. If you join us, you'll get a fresh, clean slate. Just think of it as declaring bankruptcy. Trump, you know what I'm talking about. You're good at that. Bankruptcy, but in a more polite way, because you'll be Canadian. I know what you're thinking. We can't just walk away from $36 trillion, can we? But here's the thing. When you become Canadian, you'll have the perfect excuse. You can just tell your creditors, sorry, eh? We're under new management now. And trust me, they're not gonna chase you up in Canada because it's way too cold up there. And the best part about joining Canada is you'll get access to our AAA credit. Canada has some of the best credit in the world. Until recently, we've been pretty good with our money. Boring? Yeah, but effective. Now imagine combining that with your, let's call it, adventurous spending habits. It could be the ultimate balance. We'll keep things stable and you can still dream big. Everybody wins. So, Trump, how about it? Forget balancing your own budget. Let us do it for you. You'll be debt-free, or at least debt-forgotten. Maybe not too forgotten, but... And we'll still have plenty of loonies and toonies to go around. Number two, free healthcare and saying bye to those greedy insurance companies. Now, America, let's talk about healthcare. We've all seen the news lately and not for the best reasons. Health insurance providers aren't winning the popularity contest right now, are they? Whether it's skyrocketing premiums, surprise bills, or somehow it was harder to see a doctor because of some sort of pandemic going on. Yeah, it's not great. But here's the good news. If you join Canada, you can say goodbye to all that nonsense. No more greedy insurance companies haggling with you over a cough, a sneeze, or a bumped toe. In Canada, the healthcare is free. Yeah, you heard that right, it's free. You walk in the hospital and you walk out. Don't spend any money. You just might have a prescription or some Timbits. For you that don't know what Timbits are, they're donuts. They're just little donut. You call them donut holes, I guess. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nothing in life is free, is it? You're right, our taxes cover it. But here's the catch. Canadians pay actually less taxes when you consider the healthcare that you pay for in the US. That's right, America. You're paying more for healthcare than we are. And you're not even getting universal coverage. Doesn't that just sting a little? And now that we solved the debt crisis problem, maybe we can save on taxes. You have to admit, that sounds like a good idea. I know some of you are gonna sit there and criticize Canada's socialized healthcare system, but the real villains in this story are those insurance companies that you desperately rely on. You know the ones, they deny your claims, raise your rates, and still manage to rake in billions of dollars every single year as profit. Profiting off sick people, not exactly a great look. Up in Canada, we've basically cut out the middleman. By joining Canada, you won't just fix the healthcare system. You'll be giving the boot to the entire health insurance industry. Imagine the freedom. No more hours waiting in customer service, trying to figure out why your claim's been denied for a broken arm because you fell on Sunday. No more worrying about if you can afford to get sick. And definitely no more profit-hungry executives deciding whether your health is worth their time. So come on, America. Trade in those confusing health plans for a simple system that works. Your wallet and your peace of mind will thank you. Number three, bringing guns and hockey together. Next, we need to have a heart-to-heart about your love for guns. It's no secret that you're passionate about your Second Amendment rights. Guns are everywhere in America, in your homes, in your trucks, and in your music. But let's be honest, it's got a little bit out of hand. You've got more guns than people at this point. Seriously, your firearms have its own population. They probably deserve their own census at this point. But don't worry, we're not going to take them from you. That's not the Canadian way. But if you join us, we'll show you how you can take that much energy and put it into something else that's not so dangerous. Hockey. Hockey's not just a sport in Canada, it's a religion. That's what gets us through those long frozen winters. And you know what it has in common with guns? Passion, skill, and a whole lot of adrenaline. Think of it this way. Instead of spending your weekends at a shooting range, you can be on the ice perfecting your slap shot. You'll still get that rush of competition. It just comes with a little less risk and a little less accidents. I know what you're thinking. Hockey's not for everyone. Oh, but it is. Whether you're a player, a fan, or just in it for the beer leagues, there's a place for you in the hockey world. You don't want to play? That's fine. Become a diehard fan. Paint your face. Scream at the refs. Argue about trades like your life depends on it. Hockey is more than a game, it's a lifestyle. And trust me, it's way more fun than locking yourself into arguments about gun regulation. Okay, you're still not convinced? Let's do a little comparison. Guns, thousands of dollars for firearms, ammo, and accessories. Not to mention the safety training courses and storing equipment. Hockey, a pair of skates, stick, and a passion for the game. And if you join Canada now, we'll throw in a beginner's guide. It's like a welcome gift, but with skates. Keep your passion. Swap your guns for sticks and your ammunition for pucks. Join Canada and we can make it a nationwide obsession. Number 4, embracing the work-life balance. Let's talk about the work-life balance, or as we like to call it in Canada, the life-work balance. Notice the difference? Life comes first. And to be honest, you could use a little help in that department. You've got the hustle and grind culture locked down, but when is the last time you actually took a vacation that didn't involve checking emails from the beach? I'll wait for you to answer. Americans work a lot. On average, they work 1,791 hours per year. Compare that to Canadians who work 1,664 hours per year. That's nearly an extra month worth of work for Americans. Imagine what you can do with that extra month. Learn to ski, master the art of making poutine, or binge watch that show you've been wanting to binge and not feel guilty about it. And then there's your vacation time. Let's call it what it is. Sad. The US doesn't mandate any vacation days. Zero, zilch, nada. Meanwhile in Canada, it begins at 2 weeks. And that's just the starting point. Many employers offer 3 or 4 because, you know, some people do value giving other people the option to live their life. And let's not forget about maternity leave. In Canada now, parents can take up to 18 months. It's a reduced pay usually, but it's still pay. And it's 18 months. And it's not just for moms. Dads can take part too. We believe that raising the next generation is a team effort. Compare that to the US, where only 23% of workers get access to family paid leave. The rest, well, good luck balancing diapers and deadlines. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about statutory holidays. In Canada, we get 10 of them every single year. That's 10 days to relax, reflect, and maybe enjoy a little bit of maple syrup on our pancakes. The US, you're looking at about 6 to 7 federal holidays. And good luck getting that off if you're in retail or hospitality. At the end of the day, work is important, but it's not everything. It's time to trade your 2 weeks of vacation, if you're lucky to have that, for a life where you can take a break without feeling guilty. Join Canada and let's make living the dream more than just a saying. 5. Canada has boring politics. Are you tired of all the political drama? Exhausted by the crazy chaos defining every single election season? In Canada, we do things differently. Our leaders, well, they're boring. And you know what? I think we like it that way. No Twitter meltdowns, no all-cap rants at 3 a.m., no shouting matches with reporters. Okay, our politicians leave that to a minimum. The only thing remotely dramatic about Canadian politics is the occasional heated debate whether milk should come in bags or cartons. And even then, at the end of that, everybody says sorry to each other. But let's not kid ourselves. Canada isn't perfect. We do the odd time have politicians that try to act like their US counterparts. You know the type, the ones trying to go viral, starting unnecessary arguments, and forgetting that Canadian politics are about getting things done quietly. Quite a few years ago, we had this one mayor from Toronto who became viral for doing some pretty sketchy things. And there's a specific leader at this moment who's trying to become the Canadian version of Trump. And unfortunately, he might be the next prime minister. The sad thing though is something I mentioned. Things in Canada are done quietly. Canadians know more about US politics than their own politics. Seriously, ask the average Canadian about Congress. They'll have no idea how a bill is passed. And ask them about their local MP. You'll get a blank stare, probably followed by, I think his name's Doug. It's not hard to see why though. US politics is like a reality show you just can't look away from. The scandals, the intrigue, the plot twists, they just didn't say that moment every single week. Canadian politics, on the other hand, is like a slow-moving documentary about polite people discussing zoning laws. It's not exactly binge-worthy. And your politics are exhausting. Every election feels like the end of the world, with billion-dollar campaigns and non-stop attack ads. In Canada, elections consist of a few weeks of bickering, and then we're back to business. No endless campaigning, no political fatigue. And most of the time, it's just simple. Look, I get it. Boring isn't always exciting. But when it comes to politics, boring is exactly what you need. At the end of the day, it's not about showmanship. It's about getting things done. And trust me, America, you could use a little bit more of getting things done in your life. Number 6, the metric system in education. It's time for your first lesson as honorary Canadians. It's the metric system. I know, change is hard, but trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds. In fact, it's better. Let's start with the basics. A kilometer, that's just 1,000 meters. A liter, it's a more sensible way to measure liquids. Better than those confusing gallons. Need to know how cold it is in Celsius? 0 means freezing, not a weird 32 degrees or fractions. It's simple, logical, and way easier to learn. And you know what the best part is? Canadians are here to help. We'll teach you how to measure things without saying things like a football field and a half. And we'll help you understand that a liter of Coca-Cola isn't some weird foreign concept. It's just soda measured sensibly. But the metric system isn't just the start. When you join Canada, you'll also get access to our education system. And let me tell you, it's worth it. In global rankings, Canadian students usually outperform the American counterparts in math, science, and reading. Why? Because we don't waste time teaching kids that 12 inches equals a foot. There's 3 feet in a yard and 5,280 feet in a mile. We stick to the basics. 10, 100, 1,000. In Canada, higher education doesn't come with a lifetime crippling debt. On average, our tuition is half the cost of what it costs in the US. And don't even get me started on student loans. Up here, we're more interested in students succeeding than trapping them in a cycle of never-ending payments. Imagine graduating without having to sell your soul to pay off your degree. Plus, you'll learn the meaning of some new words like toque, poutine, and loonie. It's not just an education in numbers and letters. It's an education in Canadian culture. Think about it as being a crash course in awesomeness. Number 7, universal politeness and maple syrup. It's time to embrace something new. Being nice. We'll teach you how to live in a world where kindness isn't just an option. It's the default setting. Imagine a society where everybody apologizes all the time, even when it's not their fault. Someone cuts you off in traffic? Just roll down the window and yell, "Sorry for being in your way." It's a whole new level of living. In Canada, apologizing is basically our pastime. We say it for everything. Bumped into someone? Sorry. Grabbed the last box of Timbits? Sorry. Your team beats ours in hockey? Okay, maybe we're not sorry for that one, but you get the idea. And let's not forget about the cornerstone of Canadian culture, maple syrup. It's time to quit that overly sweet corn syrup knockoff that you eat. I'm talking about the real deal. Pure, golden, liquid perfection. The kind of syrup that actually comes straight from the tree, not a factory. Do you know how many trees it actually takes to make 1 liter of maple syrup? Around 40 liters of sap is boiled down to make 1 liter of maple syrup. That's dedication. And you know what? You'll taste it in every single last drop. No settling for syrup ingredients that you can't even pronounce. No more pancakes drowning in artificial goo. Just pure, unfabricated maple magic. And trust me, if you have the real thing, you'll never go back. So what do you say? Come for the politeness and stay for the maple syrup. Because in Canada, even our breakfasts are better. Number 8, natural beauty and adventure. Welcome to Canada, where nature isn't just scenery. It's a way of life. As honorary Canadians, you'll get to experience the kind of nature that takes your breath away. Passport free. And trust me, we got a little bit of something for everybody. Start with the Rockies. You've seen pictures, but nothing compares to standing in their shadows, surrounded by snow-capped peaks and turquoise lakes, so pristine they look photoshopped. And guess what? That's only one small part of the country. From the rugged coastlines of Nova Scotia to the endless tundra of the Yukon, Canada is 9.98 million kilometers worth of awesomeness. But let's give credit where credit is due. America has some stunning spots too. You've got Yellowstone with geysers and bison herds, the Grand Canyon with jaw-dropping views, and Alaska's glaciers and grizzlies. Not to mention the Everglades, the Appalachian Trail, and the redwood forests that look like they belong in a fantasy novel. Now imagine combining all that wilderness with Canadian wilderness and America's iconic landmarks. We would turn it into one epic outdoor paradise. Together we would combine it to make the ultimate country for nature lovers and adventure seekers. A place where you can hike Banff in the morning and see the Grand Canyon at sunset and finish your day gazing at the northern lights. Okay, maybe not all in one day, but you get what I'm putting down. And let's not forget the wildlife. Canada's got geese, moose, polar bears, puffins, and the US has grizzly bears, bald eagles, and alligators. You can see the humpback whales breach off the coast of Newfoundland, to spotting a black bear in the Smoky Mountains, all in one country. Skiing in Whistler, rafting in the Colorado River, zip lining over Niagara Falls, or climbing Yosemite's granite cliffs. The possibilities would be endless. Together we would redefine what it means to experience the outdoors. So what do you say? Let's create the greatest outdoor country that you've ever seen. And together we would be unstoppable. So there you have it. Join Canada and you'll get free healthcare, less drama, more vacation time, and real maple syrup. And we'll take care of that little debt problem for you. What do you say? Are you ready to trade in your stars and stripes for maple leaves?